Imagine the perfect productivity system that can ever exist. This system will have the following 9 characteristics. First, effortless input, allowing you to enter new information directly before you even think about it twice. Second, reliable retrieval. You receive the information when you need it. No need to do extra checking. Invisible. The best systems are silently running, like your internet, water, heat, electricity, and phone. Zero overhead. No need to visit the system more than just retrieve information. Forget all you learned about weekly reviews, monthly checkups, yearly planning, etc. Easy to implement, allowing you to simply become the best version of yourself in less than 15 minutes. Laughable simplicity, mainly due to zero overhead and invisibility. The less you think about the system, the more it works. It has to be anti-fragile. The more chaos and stress in your environment, the more powerful your system becomes. Thus, you can safely seek novel and risky experiences to gain luck while still being reliable. Action-oriented, it must be. You can dedicate 100% attention to the activities in front of you while the system takes care of itself. And finally, total presence. You're finally free to just be here and now, adjusting to the present moment and live in total happiness and freedom wherever you are. The barbell system, also called new one glance or Lagrosen's barbell, but don't use the last name because I wasn't the one inventing the idea. Because the barbell has been existing since Seneca's time in various forms and shapes. This system checks the criteria that I just mentioned. It is so simple and easy to implement that you might laugh at it first. However, just as a real barbell is the most effective way to gain muscle, forget advanced machines. The system allows you to forget its existence while your output and happiness break the atmosphere and beyond. So now I want to talk about your two extremes, because to become anti-fragile, i.e. benefit from everything that happens, you want to pursue both extremes of the spectrum while avoiding the middle solutions. And I've written more about the concepts and examples, which will be linked in the show notes. And in our case, the two extremes you have to deal with are your executive mind and intuitive mind. Executive mind and intuitive mind. Your executive mind loves planning, order, structure, progress, getting things done, achievement, winning, prestige, being fully on, hyper-focus, prediction, reliability, etc. For this part of you, the future well-being is the most important. Your executive mind is also referred to as the Apollonian side of you, left brain or frontal lobe. On the other hand, your intuitive mind is the opposite. It loves chaos, novelty, surprise, enjoyment, goofing off, getting lost, being fully unpredictable, chilling, partying, instant gratification, spontaneity, playfulness, etc. For this part of you, the present well-being is the most important. Your executive mind is also referred to as the Dionysian side of you, right brain or ganglia. And what the barbell system does is that it lets your two minds flourish separately. Because as you probably have heard by now, you consist of two opposite forces that can cause you misery if internal conflict, and the solution is not a compromise or middle ground. Instead, you want to alternate between being totally structured and focused and being totally spontaneous and chilling. Both your mind get to have the cake and eat it too. You want to allocate time to be fully in the flow state when you work. The rest of your time should be unplanned. Do whatever you want. In this exploratory phase, you will stumble across opportunities you could not expect before and take full advantage of them. Visit all the rabbit holes and get lost. By tinkering, trial and error, doing what you love the most at the moment while getting the important things done, you can take advantage of the convexity bias, as you can see on the screen. And you can see that convexity bias is so much more ascending than the other ones, the more inferior ones. Your progress will skyrocket as you tinker away and do what's best at the moment. And in addition, no chaos can ever harm you up to a point. It is because you get the most important things done in hyper-focus anyway during your executive mind time. You're solidly protected from the downside and can take full advantage of the upside, which is what the barbell strategy allows you to do. The worst thing that can happen is that you're still reliable, and that's not pretty bad, to be honest. The best thing that can happen, boy, there is no limit. Thus you become anti-fragile, invincible, unstoppable, and can laugh off whatever happens. You make fresh and juicy lemonade out of all the lemons that life throws at you. You want as many setbacks and as many failures and many wins as possible, because all of this are fuel to the fire. So what does the barbell system consist of? Well, hold on tight. It consists of a calendar to distinguish between your planned time and unplanned time, your executive mind time, which is structured, and intuitive mind time, which is totally out of the calendar. But you need the calendar to separate between those two modes, so to speak. Then you also need a task manager to see your obligations and options, or rather options or obligations, depending on where you want to use it at that time. And then you want to use a note-taking app for capturing thoughts, everything that you want to remember, all the recurring thoughts and ideas and negative feelings. You want to capture them and store the ideas. And brace yourself, because that's it. There are no other than just obligations and options, in which I will tell you a little bit more later. But I want to hear you laugh at the moment, because there are not so many components. Compared to most other productivity systems, you do not need to use, for instance, like this planning chart and this other goal-oriented document, which will solve all problems. It's just simple as possible. Just a paper, just the tasks, and just a calendar. Nothing fancy. And that's the point. And the next articles, videos, and episodes will go deeper into each component and how you best use it. But for now, and you've probably seen it flashing before if you're watching on YouTube, it's important to distinguish between obligations and options. Obligations are the tasks that you need to do, or you will experience unwanted consequences. So you get to decide what is unwanted, but if you don't want them, then they are obligations. There's something you need to do. And they belong to the executive mind. You do them in hyper-focus at a planned time. You want to have as few obligations as you can get by with, since you can only commit to so much. And then you have options. Options are actions you can do at any moment if you want to. They belong to the intuitive mind, and you can choose to do them or not do them, depending on your feeling in the moment. They are just suggestions, some guideways that gives you the freedom to explore and experiment, wandering around and tinkering. So you don't need to visit the options list even. Just it's there if you want to. But it's good to know where your options are so you can intuitively have your snap judgment in the moment. So therefore, you want to have as many options as you possibly can, since optionality is the key to staggering growth. Remember the convexity bias, which I showed earlier. So how do you implement this system in less than 1 hour? Yes, it's fast. You get all the benefits straight away compared to my previous system, One Glance, which had 5 stages too much. So now you get all the benefits for just 1 hour of work. And this is how you do it. First, you set up your calendar and the obligatory widget. More info about it in an article, which I'll link in the description show notes. This one is quite important, so I truly recommend that you check it out because it will make all the difference to have the calendar visible in front of you. Then you download a task manager. I strongly recommend Google Tasks, so it is the simplest and most user-friendly by far. Other alternatives are Remember the Milk, Things, and Todoist. In the task manager, make 2 different lists. Call the first one Options and the second one Obligations. Make sure that you see the option list first. Adopt and download a note-taking app. I personally use mem.ai for iOS users, but there are exceptional alternatives like Notion, Evernote, OneNote, ScreenToll, etc., which you can read more further in the show notes. I'll link an article there too. And for downloading the iOS beta app for Mem, since it's in the startup phase still, but it's very good, you can visit the QR code. And if you are watching this on YouTube right now, you can pause the video now and scan that QR code, and then you get access to the beta app for everyone. And if you are listening to it on podcast right now, I will link the original article in the show notes in which the QR code is there too. So you can have your options as well to take advantage of that app. Or if you want to do another app, it's completely up to you and you decide. So after that, after you set up your calendar, after you download Task Manager, make 2 different lists, note-taking app, etc., what do you do then? You place the calendar widget, the Task Manager, and note-taking app at your home screen. They need to be within reach at all times. You know that you check your often frequently too, so don't lie. I mean, you check your often very frequently. Chances are that you probably won't even watch or listen to that video if you haven't your phone with you. So it's natural for you to have it, and that's good. And in the note-taking app, that's the next step, or the 6th step rather. Write down every thought you have for at least 15 minutes. Write down all you have, all tasks you have in the options list of your task manager for now. And I link more articles in the show notes and description on the best sources on how to do this in practice. And after you feel empty and relieved, it's a very nice feeling and it's still going. Go through each task you have added. Ask yourself the following question. Will there be too much unwanted consequences for me if I do not do this task? Will there be too much unwanted consequences, too much for me if I do not do this task? And if yes, it is an obligation. Copy the task to your obligations list. Set the latest due date you can get by with. Then go to your calendar and set aside time to do this task. It's very important that the obligations list and the calendar are correlated, which I will link in future episodes. And if no, it's an option. Just leave it there and go to the next one. And after you've done all of these steps, which Doesn't take too long, but it's a little hump that you can make a good investment, and it's free too. Then you're done. Welcome to your heaven on earth. The next episodes, because we're going to cover that a lot since it's the most powerful system ever out there, if we go deeper into each component and more info on how to use the barbell system.